How do you play a game with people who don't believe in rules? I think one of the things that people who broadly believe in liberal democracy have gotten wrong over time is that they take the framework for granted, even against people who are enemies of this system. Liberal democracy has actually been really good for humanity. There's been fewer wars, higher standards of living, reduction of disease through global cooperation. We've lifted a lot of people out of poverty. I think we forget that peace is an aberration throughout human history, and things like war, strife, and human suffering is the historical norm. But it doesn't matter to the opponents of liberal democracy whether or not it's been good, because they don't share a liberal democratic belief system. They're not beholden to the same ethical rules and procedures and values that liberals impose upon themselves. A lot of people, especially in the media and political sphere, like Donald Trump, for example, simply argue in bad faith. The reasons behind immigration numbers or the stats behind criminality of immigrants don't matter to these people. The science of COVID vaccines, the undeniable fact that the 2020 election was not stolen, does not matter. The fact that Fox News knowingly lied about it doesn't matter. Neither does January 6th, climate change, or the fact that Biden's economy was better than Trump's. The Constitution doesn't matter, and frankly, I've learned that over time, dedication to values and ideals don't matter either. When I say this, what I mean is that it doesn't matter to authoritarians. The enemies of liberal democracy will happily lie, cheat, take you out of context, and just throw bad faith arguments at you whenever you want to have a discussion. That's because they're not arguing their political values in accordance with the values of liberal democracy. They don't want civil discourse or a return to normalcy or anything like that. They want to take down the fundamental framework of liberal democracy. So while you are just trying to have a good conversation, they're playing by different rules. Rules where the only thing that matters is attaining the power they need to undermine democratic norms. They're authoritarians. That's how authoritarians talk. They're just arguing in bad faith. So then where does that leave us? And here it does get more difficult. It's really hard to argue in good faith with someone who won't give good faith in return. I'm increasingly convinced that arguing with someone who's only going to respond in bad faith is meaningless or actively negative speech. The problem is that this is really bad for everyone in the long run, particularly in government. If one side is going to lie and cheat, then the other side has to lie and cheat to keep up, and then everyone ends up screwed. This is bad. The sentiment largely comes down to this: you can't play a game with someone who doesn't acknowledge the rules. So this is a lower conviction take here, but exactly as long as civil discourse is denied to you, you have to deny it back. Everyone has to be burned by this and face social and political consequences until people start coming back to the table. Otherwise, it'll never end. We aren't in a normal political moment. These authoritarian ideas are repugnant and should not be treated as though they're business as usual. They're not, and they don't deserve the time of day. And until they start arguing in good faith, they don't deserve it back.